Hey.
Alright, Joel, so former second overall pick, third year man on the Houston Rockets, Jalen Green, has had his name in the rumor mill recently with some trade rumors flying around in the Houston Rockets organization. I personally saw a report a couple days ago saying that Ime Udoka is pushing the Houston front office to try and make a trade for a star player that could help his team get themselves into the playoffs. Now, as the standings currently stand, the Rockets are one game out of the play-in. They are the 11th seed in the Western Conference, and they've kind of had a roller coaster of a season. Compared to last year, the Rockets have improved a ton. Their defense has seen a huge leap under the leadership of Ime Udoka. They're winning a bunch of games. They're defending home court. They actually look like a real NBA team for the first time in a while. But I'll be honest, me and a bunch of other people kind of felt that Jalen Green hadn't exactly been playing up to his standards so far this season, especially if you look at his season-long stats as compared to his second year last season. He's had a drop-off in the numerical, just counting stats. So for a while, it kind of made sense that if the Rockets were to ship away one of their young players, it made sense that it'd be Jalen Green. But in light of a recent little hot streak he's been going on, my opinion's slowly changing. Anyway, when looking at this current season for Jalen Green, I broke it down into three separate, sets of stretches of games. We can look at his first 8 games of the season. He actually got off to a pretty good start. He was averaging over 20 points a game, 4 rebounds, 2.5 assists, on some really good shooting splits at 45, 41, 75. Then over the next 33 games, we saw some of the worst play of Jalen Green's career, where he was averaging 16 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and his shooting splits tanked all the way down to 38%, 30%, and 82%. But as I mentioned, the last 6 games have been a totally reinvented Jalen Green, where he is now skyrocketing his numbers, averaging over 27 points per game, rebounding the hell out of the ball at 6 rebounds, almost 7 rebounds a game, 4 assists per game. He's playing defense. He's got 1.5 steals per game, and the shooting splits are better. They're still not great. He's at 49%, 33% from 3, and 88% from the foul line. Now, the interesting thing that stands out to me amongst these numbers is specifically his field goal attempts per game. If you noticed, across the first 41 games, he was averaging about 14.5 field goal attempts per game, whereas over these last 6 games, where he has started to play some really good basketball, that number has shot up to almost 20 field goal attempts per game. So not only are his scoring numbers up, but his rebounding and his defensive counting stats have also seen drastic improvement over these last couple of weeks. And that's also very noticeable when watching the tape. I went back and watched the Rockets' big win against the LA Lakers from a couple of nights ago, and Jalen Green looked like a totally different player from the one I had seen in recent history. Now, Jalen Green has always been someone who is capable of scoring the basketball, even across his first 2 seasons where he was extremely inconsistent. He'd have nights where he can go out and drop 30 points on good efficiencies. It's just he'd also have a lot of nights where he would score, like 10 points on really bad efficiencies. So to see him in this game against the Lakers immediately come out, look decisive, getting to the rim, and just doing everything with purpose on the offensive side of the ball. He scored 8 of the Rockets' first 10 points, and he was looking tremendous. Ime Udoka did a great job of running some really simple plays just to get Jalen Green going downhill, because that is when Jalen Green is at his best, is when he's attacking the rim. He's using his speed and quickness to blow by defenders. He's a really good finisher, I think even slightly underrated compared to a lot of other players in the league. And overall, when he has it going, he is really tough to keep in front of you as a defender. Not to mention, I think he's also pretty underrated at how good he is at getting to the free throw line. Again, across these last 6 games, he's been averaging a little under 6 free throw attempts per game, and for any scorer in the NBA or just anywhere that's playing basketball, the free throw line is your friend. And perhaps the best part about making it a statement almost to get to the rim early and often is that will then help open up your 3-point shooting game and just, outside shooting game in general. Because although Jalen Green is a really gifted scorer, his jump shot is still very inconsistent. he gets on hot streaks. He'll have some nights where he maybe hits like 5 threes, but he'll have other nights where he goes like 1 of 10 from 3. And in this game against the Lakers, the 3-point shot was falling. Again, he drove to the rim first, then took the game outside on the offensive side of the ball, and he was hitting some really tough shots. He was hitting them off the catch, he was hitting them off the dribble, he was hitting them in triple threat. He just has so many different ways to put shots up, and again, when he has it going, he is really tough to stop. Now, something that surprised me about Green's game is he actually looked really comfortable as a passer, especially in the pick and roll. He was running a whole bunch of that action with Alperen Şengün, which, quick side note, I know a lot of people make the Şengün and Jokic comparison, and I've never been the biggest fan of that one because they're just, they're two European centers who just aren't athletic, and I think that's why a lot of people make those comparisons. If you actually watch them play on the court, they share similarities, but they're very different players. Anyway, if you don't go along with that comparison though, I think it's then fun to also throw in the Jalen Green Jamal Murray comparison, because obviously Jokic has his Jamal Murray, Şengün has his Jalen Green. And if there's one thing that Jamal Murray has done a great job of this season is improving as a passer and playmaker in general. So it's really nice for me to see that Jalen Green is showing these flashes of playmaking and passing in general, because this is going to be the next step for him to become an even better and more dangerous offensive player as he gets closer to his prime. Either way, all of that is to say that the Jalen Green Alperen Şengün duo and just pick and roll in general should be a very fortuitous action for the Rockets to run from now on until, whatever happens. And another thing that impressed me real quick about Jalen Green is he's been rebounding the heck out of the ball. The broadcast mentioned it during the game against the Lakers. Jalen Green has been putting in so much more effort outside of just scoring the basketball. He's playing great defense, he's rebounding the ball, he's crashing the glass, and he's actually had 3 double-doubles in his last 4 games after never having a single one for his entire career. Even in this game against the Lakers, he had 2 really nice offensive rebounds, one where he skied up over everyone to grab it, and another one where it was just pure hustle and he was able to get a putback and 2 very easy points out of it. And like I just mentioned, even defensively, we are seeing a new, again, just reborn Jalen Green on that end of the court. He's never going to sniff an all-defensive team in his entire career, probably no matter how hard he tries, just because he's already been labeled as an offensively minded guy. But if he can continue to play this level of defense where he's just putting the effort in to close out hard on shooters and stay in front of his man when he has the ball and just do anything in his power to disrupt the offense, then the Rockets are going to be a better team for it. Jalen Green is going to be a better player for it, and it's going to help also just open up his offensive side of the game as well. So yeah, from what I've seen in the past, I've never really been the biggest Jalen Green fan. I thought his ceiling was limited, at least in respect to other star players around his age. Or I should say, players that have the potential to be star players around his age. Just because of the fact that to this point in his career, Jalen Green has been pretty one-dimensional. He's been a great scorer, and because of that, I always thought he could be a good second or third option in an offense, or just, on a contending team. Someone that can go get you 20, 25 points here and there every couple of nights, but didn't really bring much else to the table. But after seeing what he's been doing for the past couple of weeks, I think that he's actually taken a leap. He is slowly becoming a better player, and his ceiling in my eyes is raising by the day. It'll be interesting to see how he finishes the season, if he continues to keep up the energy on defense and on the glass, and if he continues to take strides in becoming a better passer and playmaker. Because again, we know the scoring is there, we know he is capable of going off for 30 any night, but it's the other facets of his game that will determine how good of a player Jalen Green can truly become. Now, with that all being said, if I'm the Houston Rockets, I am not trading Jalen Green. Again, based on what he has shown me for this past, couple weeks or so, he does look like he could be a really good addition to the rest of this core around, Alperen Şengün, Jabari Smith, Cam Whitmore, Amen Thompson. If I were Houston, I'd be doing anything in my power to keep that core together for at least another season or two, just to see what they're able to develop into. Plus, I'm just not really sure there's a good enough star player out there that I would even want to trade Jalen Green for. The market's not very robust, and again, at the same time, if you're the Rockets, what star player is out there that would really impact your team that much that it would be worth trading away the potential of Jalen Green? Again, especially after everything he's shown you over the past couple of games. So again, if it were up to me, Jalen Green would remain a Houston Rocket. That's all I got for this one. As always, if you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all those good things, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.